What's good, ladies and gentlemen? What is good? This is the Black Baseball Mixtape Podcast. It is Monday, July 28th. It's actually Monday night. And if you can see here, I have two good working hands. And I can't say that for a handful of people. Word just got out here that Suarez, the number one, I would argue the number one trade prospect in the pending trade deadline, may have suffered a hand injury just now, and we're going to see how it goes. But before we get to all of that, we have so much to talk about and a great, great Monday night crew to do it with. I want to thank our partners, the Players Alliance, Numbers Game Scorecards, Rebellion Harvest Sunflower Seeds, Minority Prospects. Those are our partners and our sponsors. Use the promo code BBM, especially at Number Game Scorecards and Rebellion Harvest Sunflower Seeds, to support the show. I'm excited. I was not inducted into the Hall of Fame, but Flobo Boyce might have been. Flobo,
man.
how we feeling, my guy?
Man, on a week where I'm actually pretty proud of this edition of the In the Booth podcast because we had a cool discussion about parents' role in youth sports. I finally finished my quest. 30 ballparks, visit them all. This last weekend, I went to Progressive Field in Cleveland and ended at Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati. It took me forever to get out of Cincinnati, but yes, it's official. All 30 parks are done. It took me 4 seasons to do it.
Nice,
All
congratulations.
30 parks are done.
Congratulations.
I'm sure there's going to be a big piece to reflect on all 30.
Oh, yeah.
What of the 30 ballparks stands out to you? Like, is there a attraction or something that stands out that you'd say you have to see this? This is top 4, top 5 of things at all ballparks.
That is kind of a loaded question because, I mean, there's some classic ones like PNC and Oracle, which is my favorite, being on top. Dodger Stadium is kind of an anomaly because it's in a parking lot, but people still make that trek up the wall. The vibe at Milwaukee was great. The views at Cleveland was great. I mean, Cleveland's revival should not be understated. There's a lot of them out there, a lot of hidden gems out there for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That is awesome. Well done, Flobo Boyce, who is now. What happens? Do you get a pin? I know we talked about the passport books, but what like do you get something since you're in this club now?
Don't get me started because there's actually a split faction. Those are called stampeders. Those are called stampeders. They go to different ballparks. They get the stamp from the passport book.
Right.
They are the Disney adults of this. I don't associate with that. I go. I get my hot dog. I get a little enamel pin, put it on my pin board. You know what I mean? I'm happy with just being.
That is a good point. So you got at least one of the same thing. Like Cam's thing is mini bats. If he goes to a new ballpark, he's gonna get a mini bat. What was your thing for all 30 parks?
Yeah, it definitely was the enamel pin because I really not to wax poetic, but a lot of us, and I mean us meaning black men, don't travel. Black people in general don't travel because you don't have the resources that white counterparts do. But black men especially decide not.
Carnival cruise ships.
It's true. I mean, that's a little different. That's a little different. But that's what I'm saying. You and 4 of your male black friends can't go. Let's go to see Mount Rushmore. They're like, wow. You know what I mean? So to be able to see all the different cities and how every city does it has been cool for me on like an adult level to see how everyone interacts with the game.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations, Flobo. I'm excited for you.
Congratulations.
It's a big accomplishment, man. I can only wait and hope that I can get to 30 Major League Baseball ballparks. Fantastic. April, the host of 10th Inning Talk. We will talk about the AUSL later as they have concluded their season and named a champion. But outside of that, lots going on. The Dodgers.
We're winning right now. Okay.
They're 4-6 in their last 10 games.
We're living in the present right now.
We're living in the present. We're living in the present.
They're still buying the deadline. They're still buying.
What's new with you, April? What's happening?
Y'all, I'll go back to work next week. All the prayers. Okay. All the prayers. But yes, that's about it. I'm good.
Ready?
I'm healthy. The kids come back August 12th, but I actually go back Wednesday because I'm over the social studies department. I have a meeting then, but I officially go back to work on Monday. So yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Congrats.
Congratulations to April.
Congratulations,
Congratulations to
April.
April got a
the,
job.
the Houston
Yeah,
Department of
exactly.
Education.
In this
Got a
economy, praise the
job.
Lord.
Right, right.
But
And
hey, when you were talking to Flobo about his stadium thing,
yep.
there was this idea of women sports fans doing charm bracelets for the that represent the 30 Major League Baseball teams.
Yeah, yeah.
I started a charm bracelet that represent the baseball team. So yeah, I just wanted to point that out since you
There
talked
you go.
That's what's up.
We
Yeah, that's awesome.
when we were crafting half-baked ideas about how to make money, one of them was like some type of stadium tracking thing, which we were instantly told that we would get sued for copyright infringement because the passport people.
Yeah.
Remember that we were talking about this. The
Passport
passport people have like MLB and the passport whatever have like this official product
Mhm.
where you can do other things, but you can't do like a passport stamp book of all the
Right.
stadiums.
Yeah.
Because I think our half-baked idea, remember this, was like whoever got the Black Baseball Mixtape passport book and
Mhm.
got like the most stamped in a year was going to get some type of prize or award. And
Right.
we thought it was a great idea. We thought it was genius.
Mhm.
And then it turned out to be
Not.
illegal.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is not the
I've-
first time I've thought of great ideas that
I've
turned
seen
out to be
people
illegal.
go to the stamp office with their makeshift scrapbook looking for stamps. Like, sorry, has to be the official book. Has to be the official book.
Right. It was so we still should think of something because like whoever goes to the most stadiums,
Mhm.
and I think we should figure this out. Like whoever goes to the most stadiums, and obviously we're big affiliate ball people here, so you could add the high A, single A, double A, triple A stadiums. Whoever gets like the most stadium visits, we should figure something out for 26 for them to win some type of prize. But again, it can't be a passport book, or else
Right.
we're all going to jail.
Like a real prize? Because remember last season you had a fantasy baseball prize and you didn't get that out
I
yet?
still have that.
It's a whole year. Yeah, this should win a prize. I think.
still have that here. It's actually a really good prize. And
Don't lie to me.
it goes to Alex Hyacinth. So we got to send it out to Alex. But
Okay.
it's I mean, full spoiler alert now, and it includes like some exclusive Pop Fly stuff from our guy Daniel and some other folks as well. So it's a really great prize. We just got to get it to him. He's in New York, so maybe that's easier.
Mhm.
All right, we still have to move on.
Yes.
Joining us in place of Malik, because the Astros have probably exploded Malik's brain so much in the last week. Last week, if you were following the show, Taylor Trammell debuted, and he was starting to play well, and Malik had a whole Taylor Trammell rant. Then it turned into them calling up John Singleton. So then the Astros were starting 4 American-born black players, African Americans, in their starting lineup. That did not go well because they got swept by the Athletics. We'll talk about that later. Long story short is Malik is an overload. He's not here tonight.
Understandable.
Replacing Malik is our guy from Thursday night, Louis Brinson. Clap it up.
What's up? What's up, guys?
Lou, I've been
Thank you.
tracking the 2025 MLB draft tracker. And so I made a spread. I love spreadsheets. I made a spreadsheet of as many of the black players that have been drafted, where they were drafted, where they signed, if they signed at all, and where they were like slotted to sign. And I find this exercise fascinating. You are the only one in the group that has been in a Major League Baseball draft, and you were drafted. When you were drafted, it wasn't that long ago, Lou, in the sense of grand scheme of things. Was that a thing? Was like signing for a slot and then being like overvalued or undervalued? Like, was that even a thing to know how much you were signing for based off of a slot or no?
Yeah, so I think that I want to, don't quote me on this, but I think the year I got drafted is the year that they came up with slot money. So 2012 was like the slot year. Again, don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure because all of us were like, man, all these guys getting all this money, and then this is the year we get drafted, and now we got slot. So, yeah, I mean, there is a kind of a sense of like you're getting maybe undervalued just because. So for instance, they took me 29. The Rangers took me 29th overall, and then they took Joey Gallo in the compensation round, I think 32nd or 33rd
Mhm.
overall, but he actually got more money. So they gave me less to give Joey
Yes.
more, which again, I'm not salty about at all because Joey's my dog. He just moved down here, like, and he was a two-time All-Star. Obviously, like,
Oof.
the money he got, he definitely deserved, but that was just an instance of like,
So,
I signed for that much, and they saved that slot money for Joey to give him
So
to give him more.
that's a question. I wanted to throw that out there. I'm glad you brought it up, and I'm glad you brought it up that way because that's a question for the group that I wanted to ask, and anyone that's listening live on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube. I'd love to hear a comment on this. Would you rather be the number one overall pick, because there's only one in every
Mm-hmm.
draft class? There's only one number one overall pick, right? Would you rather be the number one overall pick, or would you rather be a lower pick that has a bigger signing bonus? Because at the end of the day, also, cash is king. So would you rather be in 2025, because I can prove this, Eli Willett's signing bonus 8.2 million, which is amazing for a number one overall pick.
Mm-hmm.
Ethan Holiday was drafted for signing bonus $9 million. So Ethan Holiday got more money signing fourth than the number one overall pick. But Ethan Holiday will never be the number one overall pick. Flobo, what say you? I'm really interested. Is this even a question about, like, would you rather be a higher valued pick, or would you rather just get the money?
Money is everything, but especially in baseball where you get that
Really?
bonus and you don't see that money for years, bro. Like you get signed and you're like on a bus somewhere, you're not making that money. You stay in people's houses and everything. That's important. So I'm gonna say yeah, especially if you're like the difference between 1-1 and like 1-6. I'll take the six pick in the first round if it means more signing bonus money. Easy.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so money. I mean, all right.
I'd have to, yeah,
It's not
I'd
that
have to,
hard of a question, I guess. I guess
I'd
most
have to
people
go with
now will
Flobo there.
just say the money, but
Yeah.
I mean, there's some prestige to being number one overall, right?
Too much
There's
pressure,
prestige,
man.
but there's also a lot of pressure with being the number one overall pick too. A lot comes with the responsibility of being a number one overall pick. Nobody's going to forget your name, and
No.
everybody's going to have the expectation that you should perform as that pick. So,
The ones that
Especially
fascinate,
nowadays, you should be in the big leagues next year.
right.
Apparently,
right?
yeah.
The ones that fascinate me are the ones that are like second round picks that get like really overslotted. Like there's some folks that were really underslotted, but there's some folks that are later
Yeah,
in the draft that got some
a
really
lot of
high money, and I'm wondering. I find that fascinating. The other thing I find fascinating about the draft is the high school prospects that were ranked really high that took themselves out of the draft basically because they named their price too high, and a lot of them I was told a lot of them named their price so high because they wanted to go to college. Like they're like, okay, we'll play if you give me $6 million. They're like, you're not going to get $6 million, so we're not even going to draft you. Like,
Yeah.
but there's all of these dynamics and gimmicks that come along with the draft that I found fascinating. But that's not what we're talking about just now. And I did want to ask Lou that question because we had him here. But Lou, my guy, how are you feeling? A lot going on in baseball. Hall of Fame weekend was absolutely phenomenal. Lou, what's been keeping you busy in the world of baseball here?
Yeah, the Hall of Fame weekend was awesome. Congratulations to CC. Congratulations to Ichiro. Ichiro's speech in English was gold. Was literally gold. I was sitting on every word. Like, what is he gonna say next? What is he gonna say next? But congratulations to Dave Parker. His son giving his speech was awesome.
Looks just
Um,
like him.
yeah,
Yes.
Lord, it was
just like
scary.
him. It was actually
Yeah, it
scary.
was very scary.
But just shout out to all the inductees, man, and then just shout out to all the guys that return every year. Sandy Kovac's coming back to the
He
Hall of
looks
Fame
amazing.
induction ceremony. Yeah,
Kovac looks great.
coming back to the ceremony, but it's just a beautiful ceremony. You being a baseball fan and a baseball player, like you just appreciate that so much. Like a lot of those guys said in their speeches, they never expected to be in the Hall of Fame. Your goal isn't to be in the Hall of Fame. Your goal is to obviously, win championships, be the best player you can be. And if you end up in the Hall of Fame, that's great. But just to see those guys, Billy Wagner saying that, he wasn't supposed to be there. He wasn't even left-handed and he wasn't supposed to be there. And it's just crazy how things kind of turn out. But just watching that and you appreciate the game so much more on how they're rattling off these numbers that these guys put up. And some of these numbers are absolutely insane. But you just appreciate the game. You appreciate what it means to fans, all the fans that showed up, what it means to the country of Japan. I know Japan literally probably shut down watching Ichiro give that speech, and just him being the first Japanese-born player to be inducted in the Hall of Fame. I was, eyes on the TV. I was eyes glued on the TV. That was really, really special for me to watch, and obviously us knowing CC personally. That was really, really cool to see him and his family and Amber be able to enjoy that moment with them. So that was my whole weekend. I couldn't wait to watch it. And again, congratulations to all the inductees. That was awesome.
Flobo, let me ask you, because it seems like the Hall of Fame, now that I've gotten to know you a little bit, I feel like the Hall of Fame is kind of your, like, one of the things that you would enjoy more so than the average person, because it has like this, I'm just saying it has like all the things that you kind of like, whereas it's like there's some nostalgia there's some history there's also a little bit, like, for lack of a better term, there's a little bit of like tacky traditional stuff there that kind of all like works out for Flobo. And then you're honoring,
man.
No, like
it's tacky. You love that.
Look, full disclosure. I have never sat and watched a Hall of Fame ceremony from start to finish until Sunday.
Yeah.
Sunday, I had, obviously, like Louis mentioned, we had some personal interest in it. And I did want to see Billy Wagner's from Virginia. I met Billy Wagner. He's got a sign ball behind me. Ichiro, Dave Parker, Dick Allen. It was a short class as well, 5 people. So it kind of helped me out a little bit. But I just feel like, Flobo, this is something that is your bag.
Yeah, I need it.
No, you were traveling, so were you able to watch the Hall of Fame? And
I tried to, because I think, and this is going to sound so contradictory, but when it's time for voting and like picking, I go, man, it's so arbitrary. There's so many people that deserve to be there. Yeah, who needs to be there? I wish this guy did it. I mean, is it really the best stats? Is the Hall of very good? We have this discussion all the time. But when that sweeping instrumental hits, like, oh, it's everything, man. Because if you've been to Cooperstown, it's in the middle of nowhere. That's probably the hottest party of the summer. You know what I mean? So I'm on board, man. I saw clips of it. I didn't sit there and watch beginning to end. I just saw it in a couple chunks because I was traveling. But the idea that, to me, makes it fun, because the whole voting process gets drawn out, gets to be a whole fight. People are still looking for the one guy to vote for Ichiro. It's nuts.
Ichiro's still looking. Apparently, Ichiro's still looking for the one guy that didn't vote for Ichiro. So, no, I really did enjoy the ceremony. It's like everything else. Like, if you're, I don't know how many of you are like Kentucky Derby fans, right? If you ever watch the Kentucky Derby on TV, it's literally 8 hours of lead up for like, a race that lasts a minute and a half, right?
Yeah.
And so I kind of tuned out. Like, obviously, I watched a lot of the like video vignettes and things on social media about the inductees, but I kind of tuned out like the hours of MLB Network coverage of the Hall of Fame. But when it actually got to the speeches and you were able to see the emotion, and I was following social media. I follow CC and Amber Sabathia and their family, so they had a running commentary about everything that was going on for them, which was really exciting because CC's connected to Jordan Brand. He's connected to, obviously, the Players Alliance and Boardroom. So that was always in my feed as well, which was really, really exciting. But I really, really enjoyed the ceremony. I enjoyed hearing from Dave Parker's son and hearing the Billy Wagner story, which is an amazing story in itself. Like you said, guy breaks his right arm and starts throwing with his left arm and winds up pumping 100 from his left arm. So the fact that there's only 20 lefties in the Hall of Fame, and Billy Wagner and CC are two of them, you know what I mean? And just being able to see that, obviously, Ichiro's speech to me was fantastic. April, were you able to watch any of the Hall of Fame? Do you follow the Hall of Fame induction ceremony? I know, like I said, this year's a little bit different with CC Sabathia going in, so it's somebody that we've kind of seen throughout our whole careers.
My plan was to watch it. Unfortunately, I fell asleep.
What? In the middle of the day?
Wow.
Wow.
He hates lefties confirmed. April hates lefties confirmed.
Jeez.
Wow.
Listen, I had it all set up and everything, and then when I woke up, I was like, "Oh, I guess I'm just gonna have to catch the clips." Because y'all know I have migraines, and it wasn't my best day, so I was just like, "Whatever." I missed it. But what I did see from the clips, I really appreciated. I love the Ichiro speech, like he was talking about. But I also just love watching CC go in because Ichiro and CC, like I grew up watching both of them play.
Yep.
So to literally watch players that I fanned over have their moment of greatness be accepted into greatness, that was just such a powerful thing. But yeah, unfortunately, y'all.
I bet if a Dodger got inducted, she would have watched.
Right. It was
exactly. She would have camped outside.
Flew
into Cooperstown.
When Mookie Betts and Shohei come in, let's give April go
she would have jumped out the helicopter.
Right.
I'm going to take an early nap for them.
I think Lou said it. You said it right. Nobody that I've ever met says I'm gonna play to go into the Hall of Fame. Their goal most people's goal is I want to make the big leagues. Some of them, when they get to reality, they'll say I want to play at a next level. I might want to play in college. I want to play professionally. A lot of folks will be like, I want to make the big leagues. Seems like a standard little league dream goal, Major League Baseball player. No one says I want to be a Hall of Fame baseball player. Like that is a goal that adjusts as you get through. And I remember CC Sabathia. I think he was talking about Marvin Freeman. He had gotten to a point where he was really thinking of hanging it up. He was really thinking of retiring, and he got a call. I don't want to credit who was on the other end of the phone, but it was someone that he respected a lot. And I just remember him saying, hey, you're really close to this number, this number, this number, this number. And if you get these numbers, it might take you 2 seasons. It might take you a season and a half, but you were really close. But if you hang up now and you're going to be short of all these numbers. But if you get these numbers, you're a first ballot Hall of Famer. And it was only then where CC Sabathia's mindset flipped to not like every day going out and saying, I'm going to be a Hall of Famer. But it was in the back of his mind, hey, look, I'm creeping up on this.
Right.
I don't know, there's 3,000 strikeouts and 250 wins and all of these things where it was, if I stop now, I'm just short of these numbers that are going to get me enshrined. First ballot. And, he played a little while longer. He got all of the check marks that you needed to get. By the way, check marks that may not ever come back around in baseball, just the way that the nature of the game is going, especially for starting pitchers, right? And he hit these landmarks, and he said in his speech, which I thought was interesting, where he was like, I don't want to be the last African-American pitcher to be, inducted here. I don't want to be the last black ace, which technically I don't think he's the last black ace. I think David Price is. I think David Price won the 20 games after CC, but for the Rays. But be that as it may, his point was great, where this is a different, we're in a different era now. And as we look in the landscape of black players, and alone, we talk about this all the time, black pitchers, there's not a lot of them that are going to be approaching those Hall of Fame type numbers anytime soon. So we've got to get new folks in the pipeline. And I think CC is a great example of somebody that's dedicated to changing the game moving forward, working with the youth and doing those things. So really exciting ceremony. I thought it was really good. Dave Parker's son giving his speech, reading the poem that Dave Parker, it's very sad that Dave Parker, passed a few months ago, but he knew he was going to the Hall of Fame, so he was working on his speech. So Dave Parker's son was able to directly quote things from his dad's notes about what he wanted to convey in the Hall of Fame. I just thought that was very powerful. Dick Allen, his widow, was there, gave that speech, and a lot of them were talking about the struggles. Again, this class included 3 African Americans, right? Dick Allen, Dave Parker, and CeCe Sabathia. And all of them talked about the struggles they had to face being African American baseball players. And I also thought that was important. So loved it. I thought the Hall of Fame did an amazing job. My wife is a little bit, she feels like the actual ceremony should be a little bit more classier. I don't know how you do that, but she's like, are they on like picnic table benches? Like she's trying to figure this out. Yeah. And I'm like, dude, I was telling my wife, I was like, there's all these things all weekend. Cooperstown's in the middle of nowhere. They've got to have like this large crowd, like this outdoor crowd. But I was like, they're not going to be like this super like.
It's always outdoors. Thing. Yeah, it's never like inside. But they have a dinner. They have like
they have a ton of formal stuff all week. Yeah, but she only saw the ceremony and she was Hall of Fame needs to step their game up.
I've always felt that way. But while we're here, let me ask y'all, why is it in the middle of the day when teams are playing? Like, why can't everybody?
Because it's tradition, 1. 2, it's because it's on a Sunday. So that's just, everybody can be there on a Sunday. So they usually have it on a day where nobody is really working on a Sunday. Right. So like they can have other families. Billy Wagner's son was able to be there. Right. So that was awesome. The Blue Jays let him be there. But like, everybody can be there. You know what I'm saying? If it's on a Monday or a weekday or whatever, like some people might have something going on. But like, I feel like that's why they always do it on the Sunday, obviously middle of the day. People ain't doing nothing. So everybody can have as many people as they can at the ceremony.
Because my brain automatically went to, why couldn't it be during the Sunday of All-Star? I've always wondered that.
That's a lot going on.
Overwhelming?
Okay. That's a lot.
Okay. Yeah, I only say because like Cooperstown is 2 hours from Albany and Syracuse, so people get the hell out of there when it's done. When it's over, people are in their vans heading out to the airport. And so if you're Rob Manfred, do you go to the All-Star game or do you go to the induction?
That's what I'm saying. Everybody goes to the All-Star game.
I mean, look, there's a lot of things that I think are hard because the baseball season's so long, right? And it carries all of that. If they're gonna do it in season and they're gonna do it in Cooperstown, it's gonna look pretty much like it looked on Sunday in regards to timing wise. Now, I don't think it should be All-Star Week because All-Star Week is massive.
Yeah, and all those guys are there or at wherever the All-Star game is.
But I also think like there's a chance there's some way that you make it. Like you do something like the NFL does in Canton, which is the Hall of Fame game before the season starts. It's a preseason game, and they induct everybody to the Hall of Fame. Then everybody's in Canton for the Hall of Fame game. There might be something like that that could work. If you do it in kind of the off season per se. But that's an interesting question. I've got Lord knows I've got a lot of ideas of when the baseball schedule should do certain things. I think they did get it right with the draft. Having the draft take over that All-Star Sunday is really good.
I agree.
I think they figured that part out, and I think that'll hold moving forward. Speaking of MLB special events, let's shift gears to something we talked about a little bit last week, only because I did not like the uniforms adjustments for, especially the hats for the Motor Speedway Classic is what they're calling it. I believe it's coming up on Friday. But this is what I want to talk to you guys about before we really get into anything of substance, which is they have already announced that they are going to break every live baseball attendance record for this game. This game will be the most attended baseball game in the history of baseball, which I will go back to college football and say there was a Virginia Tech Tennessee game that they put in the Bristol Motor Speedway that broke all of the college football attendance records. I was told from people that went to that game, it was a terrible experience. The sightlines were awful. They could not see anything, and they were just there to be a part of the experience. I'm not saying that that's the case. It looks like the baseball stadium renderings of how they did the field looks like there will be pretty good visual sightlines. However, I don't know, like, is this a big deal, little deal, no deal at all? Is this real? Like, why is this the most attended baseball game in the history of baseball? Is it just
you know why
they have more space?
You know why?
Talk to me, Flobo. No, talk to me, Flobo. I want to
You got
understand
you got the Atlanta Braves and the Kentucky adjacent Cincinnati Reds playing in Bristol, and you wonder why? This is Cody, brother. Come on, man! Like,
so you
this
don't
is
think
a down the home.
You don't think any black people are going to come to this game?
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it's Southern fried for a reason. I'm saying it was definitely a deliberate attempt to appeal to that part of the country and their sensibilities, and that's cool. I don't understand why 85,000 people want to be out there near asphalt. They're going to pretty much
85,000.
That is nuts. But that
from they got their sunscreen, it looks like there's no cover anywhere.
None.
So.
That's what I'm saying. So I think, okay, you got the Little League game, you got the Rickwood game, but MLB is really doing like we're giving you something for everyone, and that's for the Southern folks right there.
But it's at night, isn't it? Or
it's at evening.
It's like 85,000 people. 85,000 people.
That's
a lot of people.
Yeah, for a regular season Braves Reds game. What do you make of this, April? Is this big deal, little deal, no deal at all? What do you think?
I was excited about it before the season started. To the point my dad and I actually talked about it because my birthday is that weekend. But we decided to make other plans for it instead of doing that. But when I saw the teams, kind of like you, I was like, oh, yeah, I can totally see fans of those teams going out there. Unfortunately, one of those teams is not doing their very best right now. And the other one is
in third place. Third place versus fourth place. That's what we're getting this weekend.
So I'm actually... I think for me, I'm more interested in what the outcome will be. I'm excited for Major League Baseball to have 85,000 people wanting to be in one place at one time to be able to look at it. But what will be the outcome of something of this particular magnitude? Because, I'm always thinking about the other stuff. And when I say the other stuff, I'm thinking about parking. I'm thinking about the concession stands, the lines at the restaurant. I'm thinking about all the other stuff. So what will be the particular outcome for the entire fan experience? Are they going to have little booths for museums and stuff? My mind went all the way there. So.
Yeah, she went behind the curtain for real.
Yeah,
I didn't know about all that stuff.
Look, I don't know. And again, here's the thing. Motor Speedway Classic in 2025, very much like, not apples to apples in the sense of demographic, but very much like East-West Classic being in Rickwood in 2024, right? Mm-hmm. Like, they have these specialty games that they want to attract larger audience to. Field of Dreams game, and where was it? Iowa with the Tim Anderson.
That was dope. I'm sorry. That was dope.
And somebody, Lou, is going to say that the Motor Speedway Classic is awesome. They're going to say it. Because
Classic was the first one.
No, last year I was looking on TV at everybody in Birmingham, like jealous and crying, saying, "How cool is this? This is awesome." And there's probably some person that didn't care about the Negro Leagues and East-West Classic, doesn't care about Rickwood Field, looking at this and saying, "Why are the Cardinals and the Giants playing a game?" Yeah, right. So I think it's cool. I think it's innovative that in Major League Baseball is having these ideas where they're trying different things. I'm just astonished by who are these 85,000 people?
I mean, that's the question.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Full disclosure. I got an email today from my professional work that was like, "Hey, do you want to go to the game at do you want to go to the Motor Speedway Classic?" They're like, they've got tickets for our office. Wow. And I was like, we're not, it's a kind of a long haul from Virginia to get to.
How far is it from Tennessee? How far is the drive or flight?
6 hour. This would be like
That's
6
not
hours.
Bad.
It's not good. I'm not flying to the car.
It's not bad. It's not
like
good.
a Friday night. So you know what I mean? Like, I'll watch it on TV. I won't have the emotional attachment that I did to Rickwood last year because, you know. But I mean, look, it's gonna be a spectacle, man. It's gonna be a spectacle.
But this is what I'm confused about, and I'm with you. The 85,000 fans is important, but I don't understand.
Where are they from? Where are they?
I mean, I was in Virginia to get out free tickets.
Everybody wants to be a part of the experience, but you want to know what else Rickwood has that them other stadiums don't have? Shade.
What was the attendance? Like, Rickwood max capacity only can be, it was small. Rickwood max capacity.
Yeah, but you want to know what else? I wasn't hot. Whenever
right. No, I'm just saying, it's like not even 85,000 people is like a large football stadium.
Yes, that's a college football game.
It's a lot of people.
Yeah,
but it's gonna be at night though, so they won't be too hot. Like the first couple innings might be in the sun, but after that it'll be straight. But 85,000 people in one place, like how they. So to your point, April, how are they gonna like parking? Are they gonna museum? Like how are they gonna handle people?
Look, you know what? I'm not worried about any of that. You're worried about that? I'm not worried about it because again, it's at Bristol Motor Speedway.
That's what I'm saying. They'll have
all that set up for 2 times a year when NASCAR comes to town.
Yeah, they'll be fine with that.
Winner of the Brickyard 400.
But when it's baseball surrounded, like
it's gonna be the same staff.
Do things change?
No, it'll be the same parking, same gated. Like they'll be able to run the operation.
Yeah,
I'm just interested to see. I think again, if it's anything like the football game, when they put the football game in the middle of the NASCAR stadium, I was told that from Tennessee, I think it was Tennessee, Virginia Tech. I was told those sight lines a couple years ago were like they might as well have just been watching on the screen on that.
Well, that's my question, and I'm not knocking the fact that it's Speedway Classic and it's just been made this year. But like when it's somewhere else, like the Japan series, the London series, even Rickwood, you can actually lean on the history of the location. So you're at a racetrack. I get it, but why? Like, what is like the corporate synergy? The cars aren't racing while the game is happening.
Why put 85,000 in there? Hey guys. Oh, good. I was going to switch gears quite a bit for a couple things. One, I want to thank our sponsors one more time, the Players Alliance, Rebellion Harvest Sunflower Season Number Game Scorecards, Minority Prospects, shot them all out. And then I did want to, obviously we're live here on Monday night. There's some breaking news that just took place. Speaking of the Hall of Fame, Hall of Famer and beloved Cubs second baseman Ryne Sandberg has passed away at the age of 65. I did understand that Sandberg was battling cancer and had battled cancer for some time. But it's always sad to see someone we talked about, seeing people that we watched growing up playing and, being inducted in the Hall of Fame. That kind of that generation right before I really became a fan was kind of that Ryne Sandberg era. And just from what I understand, a tremendous player, tremendous person as well. I remember the Sean Dunston, Ryne Sandberg tandem up the middle for the Cubs. And, it's all of these things. Obviously, we just wish his family our deepest condolences and the very best. Ryne Sandberg has passed away at the age of 65. So
that's so young, dude.
It is. And it's one of those things where his legacy, obviously, that's one talking about the Hall of Fame. One of the things about being enshrined in the Hall of Fame is that you are now an immortal. People will be able to go and read about Ryne Sandberg, learn about how he was as a player. Hopefully, they'll learn about him as a person. But not a lot of folks are in a place that so many people visit every day and able to see immortality. And that's one of the reasons why the Hall of Fame is so special.
Yep.
Let's switch gears again because we are now looking at the best team. Let's just quickly talk about what we're seeing on the field. And I want to talk to especially Flobo and April about this because both your respective Mets and Dodgers are in this conversation. My Orioles are not, by the way. So I've officially thrown in the towel on the Braves and the Orioles. Yes, I know I held out hope longer than most, but it's official. I've officially throwing in the towel on my
60
squad.
games out of 500. Maybe
right.
Atlanta has a chance.
Love being right.
Let's talk about the top tier, if we will. Now, there was a lot of love about the Chicago Cubs last episode, and people telling me, Cheats, you got to watch the Cubs. You got to watch the Cubs. Go see the Cubs. Well, let me tell you something, guys.
People.
Let me tell you something, guys. I watched the Cubs game last week. Doesn't do it for me. It is not one of my league. It is not one of my.
I watched a game in July. I don't like it. Are you kidding me?
Relax. I'm just saying right now, it is not one of my MLB extra inning league pass. I want to watch teams if they're playing or not. Oh, you know who is? And that's the team at the top of the grid. The top of the grid with the best record in baseball, the Toronto Blue Jays. Never thought I would say I'm excited to see the Toronto Blue Jays, but with this George Springer, this Vladdy Guerrero, this Bo Bichette, this Kevin Gossman, and Max Scherzer, like, I'm telling you, this Blue Jay team
Barger,
is an MLB,
all the role players.
MLB extra inning team to watch. I am excited to watch the Blue Jays. Can't say that for the Cubs, even though the Cubs are a half a game back with the second best record in baseball. I am all in on watching the Blue Jays. I am all out right now on watching the Cubs and the Brewers. So take that, Brew Crew fans. I am in on watching the Mets. So there you go, Flobo. I will say this. Is anyone surprised that the best teams in baseball as they stand right now, Blue Jays, Cubs, Brewers, Mets, Dodgers, Tigers, Phillies, Astros?
I'm surprised about the Blue Jays just because we've been waiting on this for years. I'm the other team. Well, the Tigers, I think everybody is, but I think everybody's kind of gotten over, even though they've kind of taken a dip. Even with the dip that they've taken, they've got an 8.5 game lead.
But they're playing bad.
They are playing bad. But some more breaking news: George Springer, I think, just got hit in the face.
So he got hit in the head.
He got hit in the head.
Leave Springer alone. Let Springer cook.
I'm glad you said that, because I was going to clown George Springer, so I won't do that.
It was pretty bad. I saw it.
It
was pretty bad. He was on the
where he got hit.
I will tell you this: Springer and Byron Buxton are restoring my faith in black baseball outfielders.
You say this every week, though. You're like,
I'm
in on the Blue Jays for the Springer. You have a team in the Cubs. Even if you don't like the Cubs, they're in a team that's really the most competitive division between them and second place. You're like, nah, I don't see the point of it. Competition, lame.
They're invested in the Blue Jays because they're in a division that your team plays in as well.
No,
you're somewhat invested to see exactly who's going to come out of the AL.
But here's the thing. This is the criteria for me being an MLB extra inning fan team. You've got to have exciting players. And again, PCA is exciting. Don't get me wrong. I like some of the players. Kyle Tucker, obviously, but look, you got to have exciting players. You got to have that spark. And for me personally, and we talked about this about the Cubs last week, I'm looking for black players to root for.
Okay, well, I'm going to put my hand down on that one.
I'm rooting for black players to look for. Not out of anything, but I track those players all throughout the season on every team. So, like I said, the Cubs and the Brewers both don't have a lot of, between the two of them, they've got Blake Perkins. I love Blake Perkins, but he's not an exciting Milwaukee Brewer player to me right now. And he could be. But that instantly, and you gotta have a little bit of swagger meter. So, for example, the Mets, Flobo, they only have one black player too, Tyrone Taylor, right, out in center field.
They're in a blackish city, though.
They got Soto, they got Lindor, they got the swag. That they got Polar Bear, who's blue-eyed soul. They got players that are
Michael McDonald of baseball. I keep forgetting.
I'm just saying. To me, the Cubs and the Brewers are not MLB must-watch extra inning teams. The Blue Jays, the Mets, the Dodgers. I even watched the Phillies. The Phillies ain't got very little melanin as well. Taijuan Walker and Joe Ross.
Okay, stop. Then
you don't watch the Phillies?
No, I'm saying you're moving the goalposts because last week he was like, I don't watch the Cubs, whatever. Now you're like, I watch one, but there's no black people. But I watch the Phillies. Which one is it, Cheats?
I know. You watch the Phillies.
Right. All right, so, look, I gotta ask the audience because if you're like, all right, so legitimate, this is a legitimate question, and it's hard to ask because I think you're biased, Flobo. So maybe I'll ask the other two. If you had a choice between watching the Phillies and the Brewers, who are you gonna watch?
The Phillies.
Yeah, the Phillies.
All right, if you had a choice to watch the Phillies or the Cubs, who are you gonna watch?
Cubs.
The Cubs, yeah.
And
Phillies.
No. And that's what I was about to ask, because I was about to ask Lou, like, do you watch the Cubs?
Yes, I love the Cubs. I wish I was on the Cubs right now. Yes.
The Cubs are way more athletic than Philadelphia, man.
Do you think the Cubs are an exciting team to watch?
Yes, I do. No, I mean,
I'd rather watch
maybe not right now. They're in a little like
they're in a little dip.
A little dip. I think they're a very exciting team. The Phillies are an exciting team too.
I'd rather watch the Marlins than the Cubs right now.
Wow.
You a hater.
Okay. Listen.
I'm looking at League Pass. I'm looking at my MLB extra innings teams I'd like to watch.
The Marlins are.
No, I'd rather watch the Cubs than the Red Sox.
Teams in baseball right now. One of the great stories in baseball right now, the Marlins.
Yes, they are. Clayton McCullough is doing a great job.
Let me ask this. Let me switch gears and ask a quick question for you guys. Who's the least? Who would you want to watch the least? Like, who's the team that you would not watch?
Play baseball. That's the best team in baseball, or
no. Just like if there's a team that's like, I'm not watching this team.
Cardinals.
The Colorado Rockies.
Cardinals. They have 3 players.
No. You're asking. You're asking about exciting players. The Cardinals have been the cure for insomnia for 15 years. That's the style of ball they play. They beat you down with technique. They're not an exciting team. No offense to anybody. And the Rockies are so bad they're good.
Do not reflect the Black Baseball Mixtape in any way.
I was not. No, you did not say which black people I would watch. You said which team.
You said the Cardinals. April, who would you not watch?
I do not turn my TV on to watch the Rockies, and right now I have not turned it on to watch the White Sox.
Okay, they're the worst
team. Leave the Rockies alone, man.
Yeah,
for real, bro. Y'all leave the Rockies alone and the White Sox.
Man.
Lou, is there a team that you would not watch?
Like the Rockies. I said the Rockies.
Okay, the Rockies are
any mediocre team. I feel the bottom 2 teams are too easy.
Right? I feel like it's not controversial.
Okay. I think the Rays for me is a team that I'm not excited to watch. They're an exciting team. They're a great team. Don't get me wrong. But I'm not like, the Rays. I'm just not. No disrespect to anybody on the team. Taylor Simpson, Caminero. Yandy Diaz, all their pitchers. Like, I think they're a great team, but I'm not. Rays and Detroit Tigers. I'm not gonna watch that game. Sorry.
I saw the Rays on Saturday. They're awful.
The Guardians. I'm not turning on my
Guardians as well. The Guardians as well. Great team. Especially now. Oh my god.
I don't know, bro.
I'm not watching them. And I'm sorry, my homegirl is a Guardians fan. Like, she's like down Guardians fan, but yeah, I can't do it.
You know who's high before we turn the page here. You know who's high on the must watch League Pass meter and has gotten higher in the last week?
Player? Oh, the Mariners, yeah.
Mariners.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The Mariners are high. And they just got Josh Naylor. Do you think I think Josh Naylor in the Mariners lineup? Let's just let's really quickly put it in perspective. The Astros have a hold on the division. They opened the second half of the season taking quite a few games off the Mariners right when we came back from the All-Star break. Mm-hmm. So they've got a 4-game lead in the division. However, Julio Rodriguez is playing a lot better in the second half. Randy's doing the Randy things. Cal Riley's absolutely on fire. And now you put Josh Naylor in the middle of that lineup as well. I just think they are the team I'm watching, where the Astros are 4-6 in the last 10 games. I'm thinking if somebody can get caught, the Mariners have a chance to catch the Astros.
If the Mariners stay healthy on the pitching side, obviously on the defensive side or the position player side as well, the Mariners can definitely catch the Astros. But the addition to Josh Naylor to that lineup, because they needed a lefty power bat, another lefty power bat, because they have Cal Raleigh, but they needed another. They needed another bat. They needed another big time good hitter. Uses the entire field. Kind of kooky, kind of crazy. He might stab you. You don't know. They needed that. You know what I'm saying?
What?
Have you ever seen Josh Naylor play baseball? Like actually watch
Why am
Josh
I
Naylor play
bleeding?
Yeah.
Josh, no.
More of a
Josh
reason to watch
Naylor,
the Mariners
Josh
on
Naylor
League
is crazy and I mean that in the most respectful ways I can. But he is a great presence in that lineup, great presence in the locker room. From what I've heard, he's a great dude in the locker room. Guys want to fight for him every single day he goes out there. But just the addition to that extra presence in that lineup, I think is huge for them. Again, if they can stay healthy on the pitching staff side, because they got the young talent in the pitching in the starting rotation, they got the bullpen that they need. They could add maybe a couple other pieces, but Josh Naylor, in addition to Kyle Raleigh, in addition to Julio, in addition to Rosarena, I think if they can stay healthy, they could definitely catch. I could definitely see them catching the Astros and shocking the world for sure.
I got a question for you though, Lou. Like it seemed like 2 months ago the Mariners were on top, but now even the Rangers are red hot. Like, do you think they can hold on to a playoff spot? I mean, we saw them go very far in the past, and then September comes, and then they trip over themselves. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
That was just last year though. But like, I think the Rangers had with those guys. You pay those guys for a reason. Obviously, they've been ice cold all year, but this is the time you want to get hot, especially if the Astros are keeping the window open. You know what I'm saying? And the division seems to be still anybody's kind of the top three or anybody's kind of division for the taking.
Sorry,
So.
Angel.
Yeah, sorry, Angel. Sorry, Flobo. I'm sorry.
Give it time. Give it time.
Hey, Joe Adell is turning into a superstar, but we'll talk about that there later. But as far as the Rangers, I think the Rangers can definitely catch the Astros. They're getting hot at the right time. It's all about getting hot at the right time. And that pitching rotation, that starting rotation is legit. With Jacob deGrom literally guiding all those guys of all the Leiter, Roker, those guys. I think again they can add another bullpen piece, but I'm comfortable. If I'm the Rangers going into playoffs and going into the last stretch, the dog days of the summer, and you're trying to win a pennant race, with those guys getting hot finally, I think they have another chance to catch the Astros as well. The Astros better get it together. They better go get a lefty bat or something, or hope Jordan is fine.
Who would you rather be in the AL West? Would you rather be the Astros, the Mariners, or the Rangers?
The Angels.
Mariners. I'm going with Mariners right now.
You'd rather be the Mariners? Who would you rather be? The
Mariners.
Astros, Mariners, or Rangers?
The Mariners.
I would rather be the Astros.
Astros? I mean, look.
I also say too, Kumar Rocker has been pitching pretty well lately too.
That's what I'm saying. You get those guys. You got Jacob deGrom. You got again one of the best pitchers, if not the best pitcher in the league. Like, guiding those dudes and showing them the ropes. Like I said, Leiter and Roker. You got Evaldi. Evaldi's going to be fine. He knows what to do. But you got a guy like that mentoring these dudes. Like I said, sky's the limit. But I'd rather be the Astros or the leading division. It's their division to lose. But you just gotta kind of keep it all afloat if they can get another bat as well. Because I don't know if Jordan's going to come back in time. But I'd rather be the Astros. I'm in the driver's seat. I'm in the leading division.
It's hard to vote against the Astros.
It is. It's tough to vote against the Astros. It's
hard to vote against. When you talk about down the stretch, you talk about winning a division, going into the playoffs.
And I had the Rangers winning the division.
The Astros are always there. But I like what the Mariners did. I like the Josh Naylor move. Flobo, let me ask you, would you rather be the Mets or the Phillies right now? As he stands, the Mets have a 1.5 game lead in the National League East. It's a two-way race now. The Marlins are coming on, but they're 11 games back. The Braves are out of it. The Nationals are out of it. Would you rather be coming down the stretch right now, the Mets or the Phillies?
Bias aside, the answer is the Mets. They have figured out something that's plagued their team a long time. And I would say Yeah, I mean, the one soda card.
Figured out hitting balls out getting hot.
I'm talking about playing C's and D's. Those are your depth options, right? Mm-hmm. The bottom half of the lineup was pretty much non-existent in June, and then they brought up Alvarez back, and that just flipped the script. So now you can move around the piece. They got to figure out third base. They got to figure out the center field replacement, offensive replacement for Tyrone Taylor. He's my guy. But as a team right now, this week has shown they find ways to win. They beat the Giants 3 different ways, and only one time they were the better team in the field. That only happens when you're good, man. So I'm going with the gravy train with the Mets.
April, who'd you rather be, the Mets or the Phillies? Mets have a game and a half up.
I said Mets too.
You said the Mets.
Mm-hmm.
Blue.
I watched the series against the Giants, and that's why I was shaking my head. He's absolutely right.
Absolutely. I'd rather be the Mets as well, because I feel like there's just so much pressure on the Phillies to win this year. It's win or break up the whole team. So the Phillies definitely feel that. They feel that in the clubhouse. Obviously, we'll get to that later. But as far as what just happened with Manfred, and like I said, just the pressure of it's literally World Series or bust for the Phillies. With the Mets, they went deep in the playoffs last year. Like Flobo said, they got to figure out the center fielder situation. They got to figure out third base situation if they want to get rid of Vientos, or they just want to give him the reins and just say go play third base. But they got a lot of infield options, and they got to figure it out. That pickup of Soto was huge for them. I think that's a good bullpen piece. You had another dominant lefty down there, or could be dominant lefty. But yeah, definitely rather be the Mets in this situation. Phillies just got too much pressure to win this year.
So what I'm hearing is you're all on the Mets.
What
you're
are you?
all rather be the Mets.
He's going to say the Marlins. I think he's going to say the Marlins.
He's going to say the Cubs.
The Mets.
Said it on my chest.
Hey, look, man. This is the caveat I will give you. I do think the Phillies go out and get an outfielder that can play center field, whether that's Cedric Mullins or Byron Buxton or so. I think the Phillies are a move away.
Buxton's not moving. You can't
I'm about to say, whoa,
he's
Byron
on the board.
I was like,
there's no trade clause.
Who's not giving up? Castellanos?
Yeah, well, just give it a little bit of time. I'm not saying it's going to be any. I'm not saying who it's going to be, but I'm saying the Phillies are one move. A solid outfielder, center fielder, maybe lefty bat in there. We'll see. But I think they're not done. I think the Phillies make a move.
They better.
And then I'm looking at Zach Wheeler, Ranger Suarez, Luzardo. You know what I mean? I'm looking at the pitching that the Phillies put up there, and I'm just saying. I'm leaning more to the Philly style of this thing. I love what the Mets have done. Don't get me wrong. I've loved what the Mets have done this year. I really have. But I'm starting to see. I watch a lot more Philadelphia games. I'm liking what I see if they can make a big move. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, they cute, they fun to watch, but they don't give me the edge.
I think the Mets are done though. The Mets aren't making any moves, right? Do you think the Mets are making any moves before the deadline?
They have to. Both of those
you think they have to? I don't think they're gonna do anything.
They both need center fielders. They both got to make that. So they got to do something there. And look at the Phillies, and you're saying, oh man, and they got a real star in center field. Like, who's that going to be? Byron Buxton says, I'm a Twin for life. You can't move me. So he's off the board.
He's off the board. Even if he didn't say that, he's not going in.
I think that would be a great piece in Philadelphia. We'll see.
No, Sed would be a great piece in Philadelphia for sure.
Right.
All right. Speaking of which, Lou, you alluded to it. The news has broken that Rob Manfred had a visit to the city of brotherly love. Wanted to get in front. So this is what the commissioner is doing, whether it's a good idea or not. The commissioner wants to get in front of all 30 clubs and their players. And apparently this is something that is I think obviously they're doing it for the upcoming negotiations with the CBA 2026 and beyond. However, I was also told, or I read in articles, that this is something the commissioner's office wanted to do because they feel like there's a disconnect between the commissioner's office and the clubs and the players. So Manfred was the type of guy that wanted to visit the clubs, all 30 clubs, visit with the players in an attempt to rebuild or repair whatever relationships they were having. And obviously, in the meantime, They're going to talk about the finances of the league, is what the Jeff Passan report. Jeff Passan, by the way, from ESPN, wrote a fantastic article about this exchange. The headline is going to be, Bryce Harper cussing at Manfred, and Manfred standing his ground and cussing back at Harper, and trying to, everybody cooler heads trying to prevail, because this is going to be a very contentious fight. There's a couple angles that we can take about this. The first one is, shout out to our guy, super columnist, ESPN radio host, our guy Clinton Yates. I was texting with Yates about this earlier today, and I was like, I'm familiar with the world of Washington. And when I say that, I mean the political world of Capitol Hill and all of that stuff. They had some Washington level leaks in that meeting because Jeff Passan had everything. Jeff Passan had quotes about who said what, when they said, how they backed down, what Harper said, what Manfred said, what was going on. Those
what
were
Cassiano said.
They were high level leaks. And Yates was saying that if you're the Players Association, you're not happy about those high level leaks and this becoming public. However, I wanted to get your take. We all know, just for those that are kind of just catching up on this, there is a fight coming. There's a fight looming, and there's two words that are it's the key of the fight: salary cap. The owners want a salary cap. They want a hard cap that is a cap that happens in the NFL, that happens in the NHL, it happens in the NBA. As it currently stands, Major League Baseball does not have a salary cap. They don't have a hard cap. That's why Shohei Ohtani can get $700 million and Juan Soto can get $765 million. They have what they call as a luxury tax. So if you're over a certain number, if you are Big Daddy Warbucks Cohen, you're just like, all right, I'm going to pay the luxury tax. They're not like this massive rush if you have the means to get under the luxury tax, if you want to sign players for X number. The Players Association, whose job, led by Tony Clark, whose job is to represent the players as best they can, are vehemently opposed to anything where they feel like will benefit the owners to the extent of the players. It's basically, as I quote other people saying this, not necessarily my words, but I understand them, it's organized collusion. We've heard a lot about collusion in the last couple of years of owners banding together to do things in collusion. Well, a salary cap, all the owners band together and say, we're not paying over this amount of money. Yeah. And that's what it is legally. Now, and again, different people have different opinions. Competitive balance is one of them. Small market teams that aren't going to ever get a Juan Soto for that number think maybe have a different opinion of a salary cap. So it is a looming fight. Long setup to say Manfred goes in to talk to the Phillies, and Bryce Harper, obviously a huge star in this league, one of the higher paid players in this league, basically says, get the F out of our locker room talking about salary caps. And there's some heated exchanges and some back and forths. What do you make, Lou? You're the only one that's been in a major league locker room. What do you make of all of this? And I mean, what do you make of the kind of exchange between the commissioner and a star player? Also, what do you make of all of this becoming public? Because now I'm starting to think that this has to be intentional.
Yeah, at that point, for it to get leaked like that, it definitely has to be intentional. On whose side, I'm not sure, but yeah, I've had, we have meetings and stuff in spring training. I've never had a meeting that I can recall that the commissioner comes in and talks to us. But obviously the commissioner's initiative to go around all 30 teams, and kind of like you said, build a relationship with the players and the teams. For this to be leaked out, like you said, the Players Association definitely is not happy about that. We don't want to show our cards, at the end of the day. You don't want to show too much emotion when it comes to that, and usually those meetings are hush hush. Nobody needs to know about what happens or what is said in those meetings. So me as a former player, I'm definitely like kind of one eye open, like, well, what happened with that? Why was that leaked? As far as the whole, Harper and Manford situation. Obviously, Harper is very respected around the league. One of the highest paid players in our league, one of the best players in our league, two-time MVP. So, hugely respected and definitely has a voice. I think him or Kyle Schwarber is the player rep for the Phillies. So as far as like, if anybody doesn't know the player rep, every team has one or two players that rep the team when it comes to negotiations or anything that has to do with the Players Association meeting with the owners and the commissioner. So I think, like I said, I think Harper or Kyle Schwarber is that rep for them. So Harper is, everybody knows Harper as a fiery guy. He's going to speak his mind, whatever he's feeling in any situation. I think he's earned the respect around the league to be able to do that. But obviously he was not happy as far as talking about salary cap. And I know that's not a conversation he wants to have in the middle of a season where they're trying to make a playoff push and you're coming here and talking salary cap. That's a year and a half away. I don't want to hear none about that, especially when we're talking about setting a cap on how much players can make when we work so hard and do the hardest thing to do in sports, and play as long as we do, and we're away from our families as long as we do. As players, we deserve, to be compensated. We deserve to be paid for that. And with MLB making over $12 billion in revenue, off of the players and what we do on the field, that's definitely something that's a touchy subject. So I don't blame Harper in a sense, because again, in these meetings, things can be said. It's a heated discussion. Anytime the commissioner comes around, it's a like, okay, this is serious. This ain't no play. This ain't jokes. This is a serious conversation. So automatically everybody's on edge because like, all right, what's he got to say? What's he got to propose to us? So um, you take yourself into that meeting as a fan, as a spectator, as a media person, a part of the media, and you want to know what's being said. But at the end of the day, that stuff needs to be kept in house. Mm-hmm. And meetings like that usually do not leave the clubhouse. So for the fact that it got out, I'm not too happy about that. I know the Players Association isn't too happy about that, and I know players around the league aren't happy about it. So, you know, again, that's a conversation. It is a fight coming, and it's something that's very real and very possible. That there could be a work stoppage in the next, not next year, but the year after. So we'll see what happens. But I am not too happy, especially when I read that this morning. I was eating, and I was like, man, that's not something that needs to be out to the public. So hopefully we can get that. I heard, and I saw that Nick Castellanos said a lot about it. I heard that that Harper and Manford shook hands after. I don't know how true that is, but we'll see.
The details
speculation.
The details in the past article were amazing. It was Nick Castellanos played peacemaker. They shook hands at the end of the meeting, but it was also reported that Manford tried to call Harper the next day and he did not pick up the phone. These were all in the article. April, let me ask you, because there's a couple things that did stand out to me from just hearing the story. And we're talking about the conclusion of the 26 season. So we will conclude the 25 season. Ideally, you'll play the 26 season. And as soon as the World Series out number 3 of the 26 season is over, that is, if there's not a deal made in the next year or next, then we're looking at work stoppage at the conclusion of 26 season. We did mention, though, Bryce Harper has been in the spotlight since he's 15 years old, 2-time MVP, one of the highest paid players in the game. The other thing about Harper that I think is really relevant to this conversation, he is a Scott Boras client. Scott Boras is his agent. And what I mean by that is, again, the first thing I'm thinking of is how educated is a guy like Bryce Harper on workers, kind of workers' understanding of what collective bargaining is, how educated is Harper on these types of issues. And when you find out that the guy giving Bryce Harper the information on what this means for all the players is one of the most knowledgeable and powerful reps in the game when you talk about Scott Boras, I think he probably has a really good handle on what a salary cap means and is able to talk about it when you hear these types of stories, when you kind of heard this story about fiery exchanges between a guy like Bryce Harper and the Phillies clubhouse and the commissioner, what came to mind for you?
When I first heard the Harper Manfred thing, I was like, now who would leak that? Because you got Harper looking like an aggressor to the MLB commissioner. That's just not something that somebody would have out there. I initially thought that it was a ding towards the players. So it was something coming from the owner side. That was my initial take on that whole thing, because we keep hearing them say price ceiling, price ceiling, price ceiling, and the second they say price floor, it's now we ain't gonna do that. We're not gonna do that. So when we have these conversations, do I think that Bryce Harper is knowledgeable about this entire thing? Absolutely, because if you've ever sat down and listened to a Scott Boras conversation, the man knows exactly what he's doing. He knows his job, not even just from a Major League Baseball perspective. I've learned a lot from him from the collegiate baseball perspective as well, especially in regards to NIL deals. So, but getting back to this particular thing, I'm just concerned at exactly how this is going to go, because we know that players are probably going to start preparing, and we know that this also affects not just them but the people who work at the stadiums and so forth. But I always find it interesting because for me, the billionaire owners don't have a problem asking cities for money to make these stadiums so that people can go and enjoy them. You don't want to cap on your salary, but you want to cap on these salaries for these players who are playing 162 games. That does not include spring training. It does not include the postseason. And I'm just like, if people are worthy of that amount, if that's what they're bringing to the table, everybody should be paid what they're worth. Unfortunately, it's not going to look the same because some people just are more valuable than others. But I mean, I also have
Yeah,
a very
hey, look, it's a complicated issue. It's complicated since the beginning of time.
Mhm.
Since the beginning of time, and particularly in baseball, Flobo, the owners usually have always had the upper hand, like always.
Yeah.
Guys like Kurt Flood come to mind, and like some of the things that they were doing before they even had free agents. Again, free agency in Major League Baseball is, for the grand scheme of Major League Baseball, is a fairly new concept. Believe it or not, like there was not free agency
Even then.
as we currently know it now, and these things keep changing and evolving and developing. Who do you think has more of an interest, Flobo, in getting this particular story out? Like, why would this particular story come out?
Well, I don't want to speculate, but I will anyway.
Yeah, let's do it. That's why I asked you.
Well, no one likes commissioners in any kind of sport. Doesn't matter if you mean Silver, Bettman, Goodell, even Engelbert. There's always going to be haters. But Manfred himself specifically, even though he's done some things that you can argue is actually better for the game, has not done him any favors. But him going into having a conversation and having a player, which traditionally from the outside in a sport where it's all about keeping your head down, yes sir, no sir, getting told off by a player, makes him look like the hero here. Now, the owners will always be the bad guys because, frankly, they want to pay less for talent. And if you want to do that, people are going to boo. But if you look around, there is no league now that's not entertaining this. I look over to the Premier League over in England for soccer, or football, if you want to be all technical about it. They didn't have a salary cap forever, but now they're discussing it, and their salary cap or salary anchor is the cap is a multiple of what the lowest team earns. And what happens is it builds the midfield teams together. 2 weeks ago at the All-Star game, they asked Manfred about what's going on with the Pirates. They can't get things going together. They got Paul Skeens, and they're still as feudal as possible. He says, what we're selling as competition. And that to me went off like a light bulb because a generation ago, it was all about dynasties, right? Oh, yeah, man, the Yankees, bro. It's all about, and whatever. But now you're seeing more teams in these Speedway Classics. You're seeing more teams in these London Classics. Can we get teams 6 through 15 at a certain level so they can have these kind of games? This is what's going to happen. You get these rules that are speeding up the game, yes, on the surface, but benefits younger teams because they're more speed-based tactic. We're getting a lot of these things as well. So it's going to happen. The name of the game is, will it be gradual enough that the current players now or the players into the farm system now don't feel as if their legs are going to be cut off from them wholesale? Because the longer you have players against City Hall always wins. The house always wins.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, and I believe it's quoted in the article. Some of the players were quoted as saying, "We are prepared to sit out 162 games or more." I always find things like that fascinating because I wonder what players, like what tax bracket those players come from. I always think of work stoppages, and there are people in those work stoppages that have the ability to sit out long term.
Mm-hmm.
There are also people that are not, you know,
Majority.
That's
yeah,
what
they
I
are
meant.
not
Yeah.
in that class where they are getting a veteran contract, and those rookies are making 800,000, and they're probably paying for a lot of expenses. And so
Seven
it's
six
like
seven
there's so
six.
many things to talk about. Where if they're sitting out these game checks, you know what I mean? They're sitting out a season and not getting paid. It is going to be really, really difficult. So here's the thing. Long story short is this is going to be an ongoing situation
Mm-hmm.
as we go throughout this season, especially as we go into next season. I definitely do not want work stoppages. I think work stoppages kill the momentum of any league, and I think baseball has a lot of momentum as well. So I will be interested to see how this thing plays out.
I think that's the
Couple of
most
things.
important
Yep.
thing.
What's
That's
that?
the most important thing. Baseball is really on like
An upslope right now, big
right.
time.
So
Big
to
time.
even for any owner to even be in that mindset or consideration of it, that's going to hurt the league when it is progressing so much. I think that should be at the forefront of everybody's minds right now.
Yep. I understand. We're going to switch gears one more time for a couple quick hitters. These are going to be quick hitting things. Big deal, little deal, no deal at all. Uh, Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge goes to the IL, strained flexor in his right arm. As it stands right now, we talked about it. The Blue Jays are in the lead in the East. Yankees are I think 4 or 5 games behind that now. I, I I've heard, and this makes total sense from our diehard Yankee fans, where they want Judge to be right, right?
Right, of course.
But in the past, when Judge went out, there was nobody in the Yankees lineup hitting the baseball at all. It was just like Aaron Judge. If Judge went out, the whole offense collapsed. They do not feel that way now. Trent Grisham is hitting, Jazz is hitting, Paul Goldschmidt is hitting, Ben Rice is hitting. There's some folks that are still hitting the baseball better. So when I ask you this, 10 days, Aaron Judge to get right so he can come back and possibly hit for the rest of the season. Big deal, little deal, no deal at all as we currently stand. I'll start with you, April.
I want to say it again, big deal, little deal, no deal.
Yep.
Um 10 days, I want to say little deal. My issue though is this going to be long term? So for now, I say it's a little deal, but we'll see what happens when he comes back.
He said they're 5.5 games behind the Blue Jays. When he does come back, there says they're going to come back as a hitter first before he throws. Lou,
Mhm.
big deal, little deal, no deal at all.
I'm gonna go medium deal. If
How
there
do you
if there
make up
is,
a whole new category?
I know, I know, I know,
How does
I
that
know.
work?
Because it's not a big deal because, like you said, all
Right,
those guys are still hitting, and McMahon had since he's been over, he's upgraded the defense, he's upgraded the lineup, he's lengthened out that lineup a little bit. If we can get Wells and Volpe to get going a little bit, that'd be nice. But as far as and then it's not a little deal because it's Aaron Judge. You know what I'm saying?
right,
Like that's a big presence in your lineup that a lot of guys feed off of. So I'd say it's a medium deal just because yes, it's Aaron Judge. Best player in our game, arguably. Missing from that lineup, the identity, the captain of the Yankees. But at the same time, you do have backup. You do have guys that are going to step up and be able to not fill the void, but collectively put together a productive lineup to be able to, possibly catch the Blue Jays. We'll see if the Blue Jays, hit a wall here, but it don't look like it. But yeah, that's why I say medium deal.
Flobo. I'm gonna switch
Huge
gears.
deal. Huge deal.
What'd you say?
Huge deal.
Oh, Flobo's in. I was gonna switch gears, but I was go ahead, Flobo.
Huge deal. The Yankees go as Judge goes. Yep. Your elbows and groins. Once you injure that, the entire life you're on eggshells because you feel like it's going to happen again. Psychological impact's too high. It's a huge deal for the Yankees. They got to need Plan B, C, D, and E right now.
Yeah, because what's Stan going to do? Because he's going to DH mostly, right? When Judge comes back. So, are they going to?
When he
they were talking about
he's going to hit. That means Stan has to. That means Stan has to play outfield. Yep. Hey, Flobo, you're a big World Baseball Classic guy. It has just been announced that 76-year-old Dusty Baker will be managing Nicaragua.
Okay.
Big deal, little deal, no deal at all. Dusty come out of retirement to coach the Nicaraguan baseball team in the World Baseball Classic. Let me just preface this by saying Nicaragua went 3-0 in qualifying. Will play in Group D in Miami against Venezuela, the Dominican Republic, Netherlands, and Israel.
Hey, Dusty, come on down to South America.
It's a little deal for Dusty because remember we asked him if he's going to manage again. He's like, they paid me, right?
Yeah, paid me enough money and I don't have to do any interviews. Cheese.
Exactly. And yeah, that was a quote. That was kind of funny. I was there. Huge deal for Nicaragua. I mean, the team is solid. I think they're actually a favorite to get out of their group. But to be honest with you, they had a little bit of a
Flobo.
What did you just say?
Stop it.
The Nicaraguan team is. Wait, what they win in group stages? What was the record?
They're in Group B with Dominican Republic.
What was the record? What was the record?
3-0 in the qualifying.
Okay, so huge deal for the Nicaraguan team. But I'm saying huge deal with the Nicaraguan team and a little bit of that exposure for someone who may not be looking for Nicaragua to be a spoiler in that group. Huge deal.
So hold on, you just went from spoiler in that group to did you say favorite to come out of the group?
A spoiler group. I'll say spoiler. I'll say spoiler.
Because any group with the Dominican Republic in it.
What
did they win last time?
I was about to say they did not do well last time.
Exactly. They are the Philadelphia Phillies of World Baseball.
The Dominican Republic came out third. Because they actually came out behind Puerto Rico.
You guys have lost your mind.
No.
The Dominican Republic and Venezuela are the clear favorites to come out of that group.
That's exactly why they got Puerto Rico playing in Puerto Rico this year.
You guys are insane. April, Dusty Baker, big deal, little deal, no deal at all.
It's a big deal, and I'm so excited about it. And let me tell you why.
Okay.
Because it's not just the fact that it's the Nicaraguan team. People are excited to see Dusty too. So it's the World Baseball Classic. It's like the Olympics for baseball, just for us. But whenever I saw the news, I was sharing it with my homies, etc. So yes, this is a really, really big deal for Dusty to be like, you know what? I'm gonna come back in. I'm gonna do my big one for this one, and I'm gonna show y'all I still got it.
I could not disagree more.
Bro, this is a troll.
I brought you a Nicaragua jersey, bro.
Lou, big deal, little deal, no deal at all.
I don't really think it's that big of a deal. I'm a Dusty guy. So you know what I'm saying? Like for Dusty to come back and be in the manager's chair again is gonna be dope, but I don't really think it's that big of a deal I'm gonna stick with it. I don't really think it's that huge of a deal. I really don't. Nicaragua might put up a good fight. I don't think they're gonna come out of that division. Flobo, what are you talking about?
Right.
Well, you think Israel's gonna come out on top? Or you think the Netherlands are gonna come out on top?
The Dominican Republic is gonna come out on top, guys.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Even on Venezuela, like they not gonna handle it.
That's amazing. That's what I'm saying. The Dominican Republic and Venezuela are the tops of that class.
I'm looking at honk ball in Netherlands. I mean, Israel. Nicaragua's got a chance. They got a chance. top two
Everybody
advance.
has a chance.
Top two advance, right? They got a chance.
No deal. No deal at all.
No, mark my words.
No
When
Mark
deal.
said no deal.
When Nicaragua went down, I want an apology.
Dusty Baker at 76 years old.
Or a typewriter. I want an apology on a typewriter.
No. He's not familiar with these Nicaraguan players. He doesn't know the inner workings in the Nicaraguan baseball system. He is a name that they have hired and throw a bag to. He's going to fill out a lineup card based off of probably what somebody else tells him who's good. And he's going to call it a day, give some waves out in Miami. And again, they're going to lose to Venezuela in the Dominican Republic.
You might see me and Dusty out on the town, cuz. You know,
I love it. It don't matter.
Don't get me wrong. I revere Dusty Baker.
Don't do that now. Don't backpedal now. My King Dusty now. You say he's gonna fail.
I am separating the legacy and man and the game changer honoree that he is, Dusty Baker, from what he's gonna do in the 26th World Baseball Classic, coaching the Nicaraguan team. I don't think, unless Dusty Baker's gonna get in a time machine, go back 50 years and bat for him, I don't think it's gonna make any difference.
Oh, right. Geez.
Oh man, the disrespect.
Let me just say this, and I'm gonna be on record saying it, and y'all can pull this up in March 2026 if y'all want to.
Please
the love that y'all are giving to the Dominican Republic team right now,
too much.
I'm watching y'all because I was on the bandwagon the last time, and they completely let me down.
And that's why
I'm saying they're gonna win the whole thing.
That's
no. I'm saying that
so adamant that I think the Dominicans will do a lot better this year.
Well,
you think they're gonna win it? You think they're gonna win it?
Puerto Rico is in their own division now.
They play Japan, bro.
Exactly. Okay.
Like, I mean, winning and doing well are two different things.
Correct.
I think Venezuela snuck up on the world last WBC. That team with Altuve and Acuna and those guys were a lot better than people think. I think the Dominicans underperformed, and I don't think they're going to underperform again. I just don't.
Okay.
The Venezuelans got better chemistry. I got them going. I got Nicaragua going with Venezuela. Word to Managua. Word to Managua, bro. Word to the Managua, bro.
I ain't saying all that.
All right. Hey, we got two more to do. We got two more to do before we get out of here. We're already an hour and 30 minutes in.
Okay.
Emmanuel Clase, guys, gambling in baseball, another possible casualty of the system that we are placed in. Emmanuel Clase was a big possible piece in the trade deadline. He has now been placed on some special MLB list while they investigate him for, possibly benefiting off of wild pitches or balls or whatever they're looking at and investigating. Things much more complicated than me. I have a feeling most of you are going to say the same thing because I do think this is a huge deal. But I think it's huger. I think it has two big impacts. One impact is obviously immediately how it affects the season and the trade deadline because Clase was going to get moved. But I also think it continues to lead into a big discussion about gambling and sports, one that we don't have time for on this episode right now. We'll have to do something possibly. Look, Flobo, if we had a Patreon or Substack, this would be a good side episode, but for now we'll just leave it with you, Flobo. Big deal, little deal, no deal at all. Class A.
Huge deal. Unfortunate timing. Am I right? People are worried about the robo umps, but the reason why we have it now is that people are betting on sports. You need some sort of computer verification checks. This is going to change the game, whether you like it or not. Sad to say it though, but a week before the deadline, yikes.
The word is non-disciplinary paid leave, Lou. Big deal, little deal, no deal at all.
It's a big deal, man. Like you said, terrible timing for all, whoever was going to trade for him. Terrible timing for the Guardians, and terrible timing for Class A as well. And they already had somebody on the list as well. And
Luis Ortiz, the other pitcher from the Guardians that are already on the list for suspicious gambling activity.
Yeah, you already have a guy, one of your teammates on the list, and you kind of look internally like, all right, who else? I think they're the only two. But sucks. Timing is terrible. So I think it's a huge deal.
April Clase is 27 years old. He's a 3-time All-Star, a 2-time winner of the Mariano Rivera Award. They may change that name. We'll see. Big deal, little deal, no deal at all. Class A now unable to perform on paid leave.
It's a huge deal, and it's also very surprising because it's not something that I saw coming by any means. But I'm just interested to see more so what this whole betting thing is ultimately going to look like, because it's like on one hand you're actively promoting it, and then on the other hand it's kind of like, where do you draw the line in regards to players, etc., whatever. So
But okay, so one more thing though. One more thing on the betting side. As a player, you know, you do not bet on your sport. You just know it. It's on the clubhouse door. It's in the clubhouse when you walk in the clubhouse. As a player, there is no excuse for you betting on anything. So I'll leave it at that. So the players know you shouldn't be betting. I don't care what it is, with how much, DraftKings and all these other sites and betting platforms are growing in our world today, which is becoming crazy. But as a player of any sport, you should not be betting. There's no ifs, ands, or excuses about it. So it kind of pisses me off because it's like, bro, what are you doing? So
and
I'll
well,
leave it at that.
like, we know that that they shouldn't be doing it, obviously,
I'm
but
not saying that he did it. It's a
well,
it's a
yeah, let's not say
speculation,
that at
but
all.
yeah.
Yeah, but in
Allegedly.
regards to what you were talking about, is that like, are those kinds of things included in contract discussions, etc.?
I mean, it could be in your contract, like in the fine print, but regardless, it's on. Like I said, it's on the door when you walk in the clubhouse. It's outside the clubhouse. It's in the clubhouse. There's no betting in baseball. No betting in baseball. No betting in baseball. It's everywhere, and they, tell you in spring training as well. So it's just inexcusable. But again, it's all speculation. I'm not saying he did it or anything. I'm just saying, like, if there is any guys that are in it, like, shame on you. You shouldn't be doing it. You shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah, no, look, it's a huge deal. It's a huge deal. The timing is really, really crazy, given that, like I said, the trade deadline is approaching, and Class A was going to be, one of the top pieces, I think, moved. But we will see as this continues to play out. Not good. It's not good. The league is not, sports in general, U.S. sports, because this is something that happens all the time in Europe. It's a bigger deal in other countries. We have always kept a pretty comfortable distance outside of the Shoeless Joe Jacksons and Pete Roses of the world from, like, large, kind of sports gambling scandals. We've always kind of stayed. Those were always like really salacious scandals because there was always this kind of separation, if you will, between gambling and the sport. That has all changed. That has changed throughout our country legally when the country, actually unbeknownst to sports, it was the first domino, but unbeknownst to sports, when the country decided that they were going to expand gambling beyond Atlantic City and Las Vegas. That was the first domino nationally. That, sports knew this was going to be a thing, but it wasn't done and particularly for sports betting. It was done because these states thought it was unfair that Vegas was the only place where you could legally gamble in certain places, and they had clawed out laws in Atlantic City. So anyway, this is going to be. I think that this is not something that you're going to be able to put back in the, kind of, you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube, because it's not just sports we're talking about. This is, this is gambling that comes across the country on these apps, on these phones. I have them in Virginia as well. So I think the league does have to, like Lou said, they've got to treat this a lot like they treated PEDs in that era, where it is something that everybody knows that you can't do. And if you get caught doing it, you're going to have to be sat down for a long time with consequences that are scary enough that you don't tempt it. One of the things that we were talking about offline, Lou was bringing up as well, baseball is such an international game. Gambling is viewed differently internationally. financial situations of a lot of our international players those are the ones that are bought up in the United States. You hear all the time that international signees also took loans from loan sharks that they have to pay back in perpetuity for the rest of their careers. That, if you get there's all of these things that we're not thinking of because it is expensive. A lot of these families, especially in Latin American countries, a lot of these families put a lot of money into their child being a professional baseball player. And if they don't make it, those families are instantly in debt. Like instantly in debt. And they don't have a professional baseball player contract to deal with, right? So there's just all of these things. I think it's a reckoning that's gonna come to a head even more as we move forward, because I just don't think anyone's turning around this kind of gambling ship that we're on.
Gambling ship.
To our detriment as well. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as we close this wonderful episode out, I really appreciate everyone. Shout out to Lou stepping in at the last minute as well.
Appreciate
We will do the quick go around round robin to say goodbye, because I'm going to start with April, because we have concluded a huge AUSL season. I want to thank you on behalf of the Black Baseball Mixtape platform for all that you have done to highlight the professional women's game that is in this inaugural league of AUSL. I know there will be more content as we continue on. We talk about this quite a bit offline about what we need to do to make sure that we continue to highlight and talk about the AUSL teams, players, expansion as it goes forward. But as you send us off with your last segment, you tell us what we should know about the inaugural season that has recently wrapped about the AUSL.
I'm gonna try to keep it short because y'all not gonna be long-winded. However, the season did conclude on Sunday with the Talons defeating the Bandits 1-0. Shout out to Montana Fouts, the pitcher for the Talons. She had a shutout on them. Now they did have some rain delays, etc. Now, for those of you who are AUSL fan watchers, even though the inaugural season is over, it kind of isn't, because they're going to have an all-star cup where they draft some of the players, and then they're going to have some games between August 2nd through August 31st. But I'll be talking more about that on my podcast that comes out on Wednesday, so you want to be sure to check that out. But yes, shout out and congratulations to the Talons, which, by the way, I think the Talons also had like 5 players who got awards for the AUSL season as well.
I was gonna say, do we know about any awards? Was there an AUSL MVP? So we know the Talons are the champions. But
so the AUSL MVP was Aaron Koffel of the Bandits. So Flobo, you did get one of yours because Flobo is a fan.
My heart hurts.
Pitcher of the year was Georgina Korek of the Talons. Hitter of the year was Aaron Koffel again of the Bandits. Defensive player of the year was Hannah Flippin of the Talons. And rookie of the year was Anna Gold of the Blaze. But if you watch the Women's College World Series, some of your favorites will be playing in this All-Star Cup. So be on the lookout for that.
Did you develop fandom for a favorite team? Have we talked about this, April? Do you have a favorite AUSL team, and how did you get to this level of fandom?
I do. I like the Volts, but I think I went into the season liking the Volts.
Yes.
Because a lot of the players that I like from college, they played on the Volts, whether they were LSU players or players that I just like watching throughout the softball seasons or whatever. But I'm not gonna lie, like I like Sierra Sacco of the Talon. She's a Louisiana girl too. She's from Marrero, New Orleans. She went to Mississippi State. So there are just so many of them. They're also talented. But yeah, I think I ultimately went with the Volts, but you know, I support it.
Very nice. Flobo, you had a favorite AUSL team. Do you have a reason why?
Well, I blame April. She was like, "Oh, give ASU a shot, AUSL a shot." I'm like, "Okay, I'll give it a shot." And of course, I didn't know really much about the league, so I went with the Bandits because they had cool colors, and they went all the way to the finals and lost. It's all
There you
April's
go.
fault, so I've been booing ever since.
Well, I'm a Blaze fan, and it is selfish because I'm an Aaliyah Andrews fan and Alicia Ocasio.
Yeah.
And they added Alina
Yes.
Benford as well. So I'm a Blaze fan. I will admit that I did not watch. I did watch some of the AUSL games on MLB Network. I did not watch nearly as much as I should have. I have watched more Blaze games than I have watched Cub games this season. So do that what you will. But I am looking forward to them moving on. So April, thank you again. And we'll be watching and listening to 10th inning talk as we move forward to find out more about all of the things AUSL, obviously what's going on in college softball as well, and just what's happening with everything in the 10th inning. Flobo,
Yes, sir.
in the booth, you've got a brand new one. Tell me about it.
Yeah, in the booth, I'm about to say we had from Vassar College, Christopher Bjork and Bill Hoynes, who wrote the book More Than a Game, How Youth Sports is Changing the Way We Parent. And it really talks about what parents are doing now with this new crop of student athletes, youth athletes, dealing with trying to get themselves seen from scouting, how to deal with failure, and what that has evolved for the past 15 years. So it was kind of a cool thing. I don't have kids of my own, so it was a fascinating discussion about what parents, on top of being a parent, have to do to put their kids up for success in the sports world. So check it out. In the Booth with Flobo Boys, available now where you get your podcasts.
There you go. Make sure you follow In the Booth. And congratulations again to Flobo Boys for completing all 30 Major League ballparks. A
Hey.
huge, huge accomplishment. Lewis Brinson, you always have something exciting cooking. What is cooking in your neck of the woods?
Clubhouse Lounge. Beautiful, beautiful podcast we got going. We actually had a little segue, a little spin off the dugout that we created.
Okay.
Just talking sports and fashion, more so current events in sports. Baseball, basketball, football. We had Sahai. Rapper Sahai on our first
By the
episode, me and
Prince.
Mike Wells, and just talking about different aspects. That was we were talking about Kike, not Kike, Cattell Marte, and the fan in Chicago talking about his mom. We're getting into that. Some betting scandals with Malik Beasley with the Pistons there, and just some different aspects in fashion and sports and how baseball's highlighting more fashion and the tunnel walks and everything like basketball and football. So we have that going off, and we're trying to make that a thing for us. Like I said, just a spin off called the Dugout. Again, wherever you get all your podcasts, and we got more cool episodes, more cool guests, more cool everything. And then with my foundation, starting to work on our next year's charity softball game. Got a lot of cool sponsors coming out, got a lot of cool announcements coming out, a lot of cool partnerships and collaborations coming out. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, man, we got a lot of cool things coming. A lot of things working. A lot of things
Well,
working. A lot of things coming.
thank you, Lou, for stepping in on short notice on the Monday Night Crew. We will see you
Absolutely.
back again on Thursday, as always. Yeah, no, look, great things happening with the platform, Black Baseball Mixtape. A lot of new things coming out, so just stand by. I won't belabor the point. But make sure you do check out all the podcasts in the network and around. So excited about that. That's it. I want to thank our partners one more time. Number Game Scorecards, the Players Alliance, Rebellion Harvest Sunflower Seeds, Minority Prospects. A lot coming up with the Minority Prospects, both Minority Prospects Baseball, Minority Prospects Softball. They've got a huge underclassmen All-American showcase taking place in Georgia next month. There's just a lot going on. So excited. A lot to talk about. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, we're out.
Nicaragua!